What's up, guys? This is my review for Beau is Afraid, Ari Aster's new movie, which just came out. And I remember going to see this movie in theaters. I saw it in, not an IMAX theater, but I remember this movie was being advertised as playing in IMAX. I saw it on the biggest screen I could. I went to a Regal, and they showed it in the fourth cinema. And it was cool, because you know how sometimes those middle rows are reserved? I went, and no one was there, so I just sat in the middle. I leaned back. No one was next to me, and it really felt like I was at an IMAX screening. So for this movie, it's a very long movie. It's 3 hours. I saw it at 10:40 at night, which honestly I thought was the best way to see this, and it really was. The first 2 hours of this, in my opinion, are incredibly engaging. I think it gets to a point where, I'm going to just issue a spoiler alert here. There's a point in this movie where Joaquin Phoenix's character, Beau, goes into the woods, and then it transitions into, like, complete surrealism. But I think until then, it really had me, and it really was a unique, incredible movie. I think Ari Aster is a name who everyone's going to know. I went to see this, and people were just describing how they were so excited for this movie. Like, he's already kind of established himself as a director who is making great movies. And even, you know, funny enough, I remember seeing that Babylon never marketed that it was the director of La La Land and Whiplash, but this one clearly was saying Midsommar and Hereditary, so they knew who their audience was. I think the first hour of Beau is Afraid is absolutely fantastic. It's clearly Ari Aster being very funny, very darkly funny. He's made a lot of short films, and if you think about a lot of directors who've kind of, you know, got their start, they all start with shorts. He started with a lot of shorts, and then he made Hereditary, Midsommar, and Beau is Afraid. And Beau is Afraid is clearly different. The first two are like distinct horror films, but this is funny. It's darkly funny in a messed up way, but I enjoyed it. And I also think that with Beau is Afraid, Ari Aster is able to, you know, just take all these themes he's been working for like his whole life. I remember seeing Beau, his short, in 2011. It's 3 minutes. And he basically turned that into 3 hours. And you can kind of tell, because it does get a little pretentious once you enter that scene where Beau gets to the woods. Here's the thing with Beau is Afraid. I think that you can either love this movie or you might not, but it isn't like totally random. You know, they give you all the setups and payoffs you need. It's just if it's like your type of movie. But for me, I thought it was great because it's so dark but so funny, and it's very disturbing and uncomfortable, and at the same time it's tense and it's surreal. It's very much like a David Lynch film, and most Hollywood movies don't do that. And you know, A24 is slowly creeping their way into becoming not mainstream, but a lot of people will go see an A24 movie. So going to see this in a theater and just getting to experience a movie that, you know, is pretty detached from reality was interesting. I actually think that Hereditary and Midsommar were pretty straightforward compared to this. I mean, this one really does tend to stretch, and like I said, once you leave the first 2 acts and it kind of becomes one extended third act, it gets a little weird, but I enjoyed it because, you know, I thought it was a very different, distinct film, and we don't often get movies like that, so I did like it. I totally could see if you hated the movie, you know, but it really does commit to this insane vision. It's kind of like an Oedipus complex movie about just a man who he lives this vague existence in this horrible world, and he's just trying to get home to his mother. And what I really liked about the movie is how vague and surreal it is. It doesn't say the city he's in. It doesn't say what Beau really does, why he needs to get back to his mother. It just presents this as a filmic landscape, and it's very interesting. The flashbacks are also really well done. Like, I've criticized flashbacks before, but I think Beau is Afraid kind of nails it. It is able to build up tension in these flashbacks, and also the score is really good. Like, I was obsessed with this really, like, humming machinery, like, creepy score. It reminded me of a David Lynch film, but it was really good. I don't think it's a movie that I'm going to be, like, talking about forever or be, like, obsessed with, but I did think it was good. And, you know, I saw it at 10:40 at night, so I don't think my attention span was, like, I actually think I could have been focused, but I do think the last 30 minutes kind of, like, really were, like, losing me. It does get to a point, though, where it becomes so kind of crazy that you're just, like, you might... I mean, I think it's okay to kind of, like, detach from it at that point, but it really held me for, like, 2.5 hours, and I think that's pretty impressive for a movie to do, you know, that is an original story, and it has elements of horror and comedy. It's doing something pretty original, so I did like Beau is Afraid. Let me know what you guys thought of it, if you liked it. If I had to rank it among Ari Aster's films, I would honestly put it, like, I don't know where I would put it, because I think Hereditary and Midsommar are both pretty standard movies. They're both very good, but I don't want to say Beau is Afraid is, like, better than them, because it is so distinct, but it has, like, a different kind of approach, you know? Midsommar and Hereditary both follow almost cliche horror movie tropes, but it brings like a really unique element to them. But I thought Beau is Afraid was so distinct, and it definitely was carving its own identity. So I don't think it's fair to like rank them and be like this is better. But they're all very different, and I think it's important to note that he really is showing how he's changing as a filmmaker. And he went from 2 horror films to a kind of horror comedy, and now he's going to be making a Western noir. So let's see how that turns out. So guys, thank you for watching this review, and I'll see you on the flip side.